Thanks for stopping by. You're listening to How'd You Sleep? How'd you sleep, baby? How'd you sleep, baby? How'd you sleep?
Hey fam, I am so excited that you've joined me today. Thank you. It is the holiday season. If you are interested in all of the hustle and the bustle, this is your time of year. I hope that when you do your Black Friday shopping, that it was Black owned. Okay, I hope that you are participating in the boycott. You know many of the stores. There are lists of the stores. I know my top 3 that I will probably never use again. More than likely, I will not shop at Target ever again. Just in solidarity. It didn't mean that much to me. Our purpose and our future and our kids' future means much more to me than anything as wonderful as a Target shopping experience was. I had to get over it. It's like letting go of good loving. You know what I mean? You have to do what you have to do for the betterment. So, and for the future. Done with Walmart, done with Target, done with Amazon. It's hard to let go of Home Depot and Lowe's because where do you go? I mean, not everywhere has an Ace, not everywhere has a mom and pop hardware store, and sometimes you just need what you need. But we're going to get through this. I can't imagine not having transportation for over a year, and having to find ways and walking to work and having to find ways in the rain to get to work in the 60s. I'm referring to the 60s, the Montgomery bus boycott specifically. But voting with our dollar, but using our dollar, boycotting, speaking against something with don't start. We have to make our dollars make sense, and we have to make our voices be heard. So that is my thing. I'm not really into the hustle and the bustle. I love the holiday season, but I'm not going to go into crazy numbers of debt to express to the people that should already know how I feel about them throughout the year, just because of this particular day, which theologians will say it's actually not Christmas. Percy? It's really just all fun and fanfare. I would like to caution everyone to just keep in mind while we're discussing our future, we're also responsible for our future. When I say our future, particularly, I'm speaking of our children. I hope that when we interact with kids, whether they're your kids or whether they are a part of your village, that you are challenging them to be the best person that they can be. You're challenging them to, hey, you received something, maybe you'll give something away. You received something, you're going to contribute some time to a soup kitchen. You're going to be a part of your community. Let's stop using the words less fortunate, the homeless, the needy. Let's consider, there but for the grace of God go I. There but for the grace of God do I have a roof. There but for the grace of God am I not on the chow line, on the bread line. And the truth is, if we're teaching our children community, it's one of the, I don't remember the Kwanzaa principles, I'll put it up, but it's one of the Kwanzaa principles where we are connected, we are in community. So if you don't have, then I don't have. And if I have, you have, right? And that is how I live. That is how I think it's important for us that's how I was taught to move. And if I have too much, what looks like too much, what feels like too much, someone else needs to have some of what I have. And it's not the mangled garbage version of it. It's stuff that I would still wear, stuff that I'd still use. But you know what? Here you go. Because ain't no need for all of that. But it starts young. Participating in your house, participating in your local community, whatever that is, your church, your mosque, your temple, your school, your senior community, whatever it is. Just make sure that my suggestion is that you infuse goodwill and what that actually means to your children. And if it becomes a part of your life, then it's something that they don't feel like I'm a good person because I'm doing this. It's just a part of our life. They don't feel like it's a labor, to do something. They're just doing what we do. This is our family and this is what we do. So I went to New York to see the Christmas show, and I saw these little girls wearing these holiday dresses, just dressed up. When you go to a show, sometimes you dress up. My family, we would dress up for a show. I still do. My grandmother and my mother in particular would dress up to go to the doctor's office. Sometimes I still am that woman. I take after that. But also they had on, frilly dresses, the lace and all of the things bouncing around. And I tease often when I say I feel old. When I tell you I felt like a relic, because I feel like I look like the Tin Man when I'm walking. I don't know what's going on with my knees. I am trying to self-fix, self-tend to, but I need to see someone because my knees have been just doing this new thing, I'll say. And I'm not going to claim that I have bad knees, but I will say I am too young for my knees to be, and so then to walk on New York's concrete for hours, it wasn't a good thing. And so I felt like an old relic, that had some stories to share to the young folk when I saw these babies just bouncing around. Because today when I jump around, it is quite awful. It can have awful consequences. Brandy and Monica's tour has been doing well. I'm loving seeing the celebrity sightings. While I appreciate both of them, I wouldn't say that I'm a fan. For me, a fan, I enjoy their music. I don't have to I would not be mad at meeting either of them or singing background for either of them, but I don't have to go to a show. If you got me a ticket, sure, I'll go. But Ledisi, that's a show. When she covered Nina Simone at Carnegie Hall, I missed a payment of something to go see her. That was important to me. I am so excited to see my childhood on stage, though, I have to say. So you have part of many of our beginnings in Brandy and Monica, and then you have part of our adulthood, our early adulthood in First Lady Obama, simultaneously on stages across this nation, which is very, very cool. I remember when The Boy Is Mine came out. Brandy, people call her the vocal Bible, and if you're a Whitney aficionado like I am, I don't understand how one can say that. Her voice has evolved. We have witnessed the evolution of her. And so, she's a beautiful singer, and she's always had great production, great stage presence. We watched her go from looking very new but poised to now just she is embodying, she's a full woman, of course, and something about them 30s and 40s that just kick off when you're on stage or when you're in your element, whatever that is, whether it's in the courtroom or on the stage. She just does her thing, and I'm not mad at it. But I wanted to sound like Monica when we would sing. So when we do The Boy Is Mine, it's kind of like every group, if you know the singers, people want to be one singer, but they don't want to be the other singer. And even though this was not a duo group, this was just a duet, a one-off. When we would do the song, many of us wanted to be Monica. I think because Monica had more, there was more soul to her voice. And now to see how they've evolved and the choices that I'm guessing the MD or that they've made, it's just like, I'm loving watching the clips. Not mad that I wasn't there, but loving watching the clips. And I saw a post and it said, "This is who you think went to the concert." And it's a woman. She might be in her 30s, she is in her 30s, because it said, then she clipped and showed a video of her at 7 years old in the 90s. And I said, oh, she's in her 30s. And she said, "This is who actually went to the concert." And that's really who it is. It's the young version of us who is singing, "Sitting up in my room, I want to be down just one of them days." Loving the nostalgia. Just great, great, great. First Lady Obama's tour is almost done. In discussing the look, First Lady Obama discussed beyond her outfit choices, her outfits, her dress choices, the fabric choices, the choice of designers. She also discussed her hair. And as Black women, the majority of us who are honest, you ever had those conversations with people, everybody else is hot for talking about how, I don't know, broccoli smells gross. And you got that one person, "I love the smell of broccoli." Like, you always have that person that has to has to distance themselves from the truth of a conversation. Those people aside, most Black women will admit that our hair can be a thing. When you have very coarse hair, as I do today, years ago it was nappy, then it was kinky. Now you can't say that anymore. So it's called tightly coiled or 4C. It is a challenge to manage, which is why I wear wigs a lot of times, or which is why I've shaved it, which is why I twist it. It is a challenge to figure out what to do. And then when you figure out what to do, you go outside, depending on the temperature, the weather, what you spent so much time with shifts, getting it's like a marriage. You're getting to know your hair. You meet married people and they're like, oh, we've been married 30 years and I'm still learning pieces of my spouse. I'm still learning my hair. And it's been with me for 42 years, but it hasn't been in this state. And for 43 years, it has not been in this state for 43 years. So I'm learning it. And she talked about the importance to her of, she didn't want the conversation to be about what she had on or what her hair looked like. And people on the, people that really truly don't want to have any sort of empathy or intentionally misunderstand what she's saying. What do you mean with your hair? Our hair is such a taboo topic. It's such a feared discussion. I venture to say the strength that is found within our hair is so awe-inspiring. That's a plausible reason that you make it almost impossible for us to show up as our true and authentic selves in the workplace. Granted, we may wear the wigs because it's easier, but you make it hard for us to come to work with braids. You make it hard for us to come to work with an afro. You call us into the office because our hair looks a certain way, or because we lose our jobs because our hair is locked up. Our hair grows out of our heads the way that it does, and we tend to it the way that we choose, whether it is a ponytail, whether it is braids, it is locks, it is finger waves, soft waves, permed, bald, and it is problematic. It is chosen. Certain styles are chosen to be deemed as problematic in some states, hence the evolution of the Crown Act. If you are in a line of work where the freedom of all to be who they actually are, whatever that is, whatever that looks like, exists, that is a beautiful thing. Just know that is not the case all over the nation. That is not the case even in your state where you're working. I've been called into an office because I've worn my hair big for years. This doesn't look like a wig. I know people it may look like a wig because it's not my hair, but I know people with hair like this. Let's just Tracy Ellis Ross. Her hair grows out of her head like this. And I was working at a hotel and I was called into an office because my hair I had a wig. Not a Bozo the Clown wig, a wig donning my natural hair. And it was seen as problematic. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what to do because this is, I'm not gifted in the space of doing my own hair. I can wash it and do a deep condition, and that is as far as my skills go. So it was listening to her. I didn't necessarily need affirmation, but I will say it was affirming to the culture because we're not in this alone. The woman at the top part, we watched her go through what she went through, just the public stuff that she went through. And when people say Michelle 2028, I love how she said, stop. Because y'all ain't ready. And aside from that, what they went through, the 8 years that they were in charge of the nation, getting refuted at every turn. I remember thinking, like, you guys are calling, 4 more years. I didn't want that for them. I love looking at them. I love listening to them. I loved what he did, what they stood for while they were here. But the person in me did not want, because I liked them. And I'm like, how do you like somebody and want them to endure that much trauma and drama and just being so mistreated and just how nasty and the level of vitriol that was thrown in their direction? Why would I want people that I like to be disrespected like that for 4 more years? For what? So that was a thing with that. But back to her hair. I loved how she discussed she loves braids, but she could not and would not wear braids while in the White House. When I went to the Christmas show yesterday, Every year I see the Christmas. I've been seeing the Christmas show with my family for 30 years. We may have missed a year here and there, but since I was 12, maybe 11, we've been seeing the Christmas show pretty much every year. And as time goes on, we're all getting older. It means your parents are getting older. I'm fortunate to still have them here on this side. But I always wonder, is this the last Christmas? And I get very emotional. My sisters, they find it ridiculous. I can't control it. I just get very emotional, especially towards the end of it. Because you don't realize that you're living in what will be seen as the good old days while you're living in them. You're just living in the blessing or the torture of your life. But when it's a blessing, you're just enjoying it. You often don't realize it. And I'm such an empath, and I internalize, and I'm ever thinking about something, and I'm always writing and transcribing the moment. In the moment, I'm thinking, this is wonderful. In the moment, I'm thinking, how much longer will we have? Which some may say, oh, that can ruin the moment. For me, it's a beautiful thing. Yesterday, tears were in my eyes because there were 4 sets of brown legs. There were 4 brown Rockettes. There may have been some yellow ones there. I saw 4 sets, 8 brown legs. Every year, my father and I will look at each other and be like, I see 2. We may see 3, never 4. And they didn't have them just, sequestered to the back. They had them 2 at one point were in the front. And then there was a dance. So you have the Rockettes, and then you have other people that are in the show if you're unfamiliar. And so one of the other participants in the show, one of the other actors in the show, had braids, and they were just in a ponytail, like one of the white girls, in a ponytail and just swinging as she's twirling and doing her thing. And all I'm thinking of, and this is my parents' fault that I think like this, I'm thinking of Katherine Dunham and Debbie Allen and people who are here to see that they have been a bridge for this generation to cross over and to live and to walk into. They knocked down some doors that this generation didn't even know existed, right? I'm thinking about Josephine Baker and so many others. Oh gosh, what's the day? Oh my goodness, she just passed. Oh, I'm going to put her face up. Oh, I'm so upset that I can't remember her name. Give me a moment. I didn't even have to type it. As I was typing, female dancer, Judith Jamison. I'm thinking about Judith Jamison, Katherine Dunham, Josephine Baker, Debbie Allen, Misty Copeland. I am thinking of these women who have been a bridge from point A to point F to point R, where these women are younger than me. Misty Copeland and I are about peers. Then you have Debbie Allen, who's older than us, Katherine Dunham, Judith Jamison, Josephine Baker preceded Debbie Allen. So each passed the baton. And to see these girls dancing, I'm not even a dancer. I can't imagine what it feels like to actual dancers to see Black women on the stage of Radio City Music Hall. That was the whole show for me. That was worth everything to me. So, and Mrs. Claus was a Negro. Oh my gosh. They had a brown-skinned Mrs. Claus yesterday. Everybody's waiting for the man with the bag. Christmas is here again. I wanted a program. Didn't have a program this year. I feel, again, I think about the elder generation and how so many things that they're used to, like milkmen. I just got that from a Modern Family. Milkmen, manners. So much has changed. You're used to a program. There was no program this year. I guess people find it to be wasteful. But now, because I'm like, great, the first year that there's all these colored folk here, there ain't no program. Someone got offended when I said colored folk. I'm just like, just rock with me. This is just my thing, right? Y'all can say the other words. This is the least of our worries. Anyway, the hair conversation was so necessary, and I love how it was the totality of the look was from head to toe, and beyond opening doors for so many designers, it was opening doors for stylists, for hair curators, for hairdressers, discussing the health of her hair, discussing her choices. Why did she choose to wear her hair like this? How she chose to wear her hair. Oh, my goodness. One day she and I are going to meet. I've been saying that. I've had dreams of it. And I know when we meet, we're going to have this Black woman girl talk. And it's just, to me, nothing is far-fetched because we're all, woo. Woo. To me, it's not far-fetched. We're all under the same sun, under the same God, and it can happen. And I believe that she and I, when I look at prospects of dating, I think, okay, I need somebody who is not going to embarrass me when we're in certain spaces, when we're in any space. When I use the restroom, because I'm gonna have to walk away, I'm gonna have to step away and use the restroom. I need someone who can hold their own with whoever, someone who's not intimidated by the wonderful, magnificent life that I have. I said it, I used to be embarrassed to say things like that. I have a wonderful life, and it's only going to get more incredible. And someone who can match wits with me, someone who has great conversational skills, who listens but also can contribute. So when I walk away and Oprah Winfrey says, "Oh, who are you?" and they introduce themselves, they don't just say, "Yeah, I'm Leah Mann." They speak and present. And when the Obamas ask, what are you reading? Or about to say Bill Gates, Henry Louis Gates asks what he's reading, and he can contribute to conversations beyond Ancestry. He's known for that show on Ancestry. He was a whole professor. The brother reads. I need somebody that can read. When she and I meet, I went on a tangent. When she and I meet, I look forward to the conversation that we're going to have. I look forward to the conversation that we're going to have as real women, as women who were over-expected but underappreciated. I look forward to those days of having those conversations, possibly exchanging numbers and seeing one another more than once. There it is. The last time we met, and I do apologize, I have to tighten up my schedule. I do apologize for the lapse in the week. I spoke about the DNA deficit and how we are fighting battles that our own grandparents may not have even known because it was set so far back in our bloodline that we are recipients of the good and recipients of the not so good. In the conversation about the DNA deficit, it's important for us to know our strengths as well as our deficits. It is important for us to understand how to replenish our deficiencies. So if I have a bloodline that's deficient in the areas of family matters, in the areas of marital relationships, in the areas of health, if everybody has an ailment, we can't keep saying, diabetes runs in my family and just roll on. We can't keep saying, oh, everybody in the family gets divorced and roll on. We can't keep saying, oh, this person was poor, this person was poor, this person was poor, and it's just going to keep following and following. We have to break a cycle. And we can't just look out and just assume everybody else's life is wonderful because of luck of the draw. While I do believe there are generational curses, there are generational blessings. Some people, you have the great grandfather who was a pioneer right out of slavery. You have or escaped slavery, who never experienced slavery, and who migrated to this nation and then taught the tricks of the trade to their child. So they never even knew those 400 years. But ingenuity ran through the bloodline, and money somehow always came. So you have those people, not perfect, but when it comes to being enterprising, they never lose. It appears they never lose. It appears every loan that they request is approved. It appears every building that they want to buy, every piece of land that they want, every business plan goes smoothly. Meanwhile, you're over here seemingly suffering, can't get a break, things aren't working. So where are we deficient? We're deficient in areas of follow through. We are deficient in areas of belief. We have to recognize the same way why is my relationship failing? Why is another relationship failing? Why am I in so much pain? I told you earlier about my knee. Is that because I'm putting on weight? Is that my choice of eating? Am I deficient somewhere? Is there a vitamin? Is it a mere vitamin? Is there a food that I have too much of or not enough of? The same way that I'm doing that with myself, when I'm looking at challenges that I have, it behooves me to look beyond the people that I knew. I know my parents, I knew my grandmothers, I knew of my grandfathers, and I know a little bit about, I knew of my grandfather, and I know a little bit about my another grandfather. I don't know much of anything about anybody beyond that. So this is new. You hear people all the time talking about old Arthur. You hear people all the time talking about heart disease here, diabetes here. Okay, that's not my thing, but this is my thing. So there's a deficiency somewhere or an inflammation. There's a deficiency in the DNA, and it is our job to decipher, to decode the deficiency so that we can supplement the deficiency and fill it with what needs to be filled so that we can experience the life that we deserve. We have this challenge as humans to recognize when something is wrong. Some people have a problem. Yeah, I know that's cute. There's a compliment and somebody doesn't know how to accept a compliment. That's nice. And it's nice that people have to teach people how to take compliments. It's very cool. The challenge for me is when I'm talking to someone and the only thing that they refuse to acknowledge that there is a deficiency. If you highlight my deficiencies, I appreciate it because I need to know what I need to work on. Because some of our deficiencies may be blind sides, and it takes someone else to see it. If I'm holding my hand up here, I saw this example years ago and it was more elaborate, but I'm going to condense it. If I hold my hand up, if you hold your hand up to your face, you know the M that everybody has on their hands? You can't see that M when you hold it like this. When you pull it out, you pull back further, you can see the M, you can see other lines, you can see where the M goes, which finger, the lines of the M go to, what part of the hand are all connected as you pull back. So sometimes you're too close to it, and it does take another person to point out the deficiencies. We have to recognize the life that we are living is not just our life. It is a life that has been lived multiple times already. We're just embodying this thing. And it behooves us to find out the blind spots. It behooves us to find out what I need to fix. Because if we're not trying to fix it, then what are we doing? I can't keep saying, I need you to get better. I need you to get better. If I'm in a relationship, I'm in a friendship, I'm in a marriage, if I'm working, I need you to get better. I need you to get better. And then no one, including myself, is telling me or looking at me and telling me how to get better. So now they're better and the problem still persists. Why? Probably because I haven't done the necessary self-excavation. We have to do self-excavation. All of us. This DNA thing is something, and it can sneak up on us. It can be such a wonderful thing, but it can also be very tricky when it comes to conquering our relationships. Just something for you to consider. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. I discussed the holiday season. I discussed mourning loss that I haven't even experienced. This is the most suicidal time of the year. This is the saddest time of the year for many. For others, it is the most wonderful time of the year. And if that is you, it is necessary to recognize that if someone's not full of joy, if someone is not in the Christmas spirit, it's not your job to remind them of how good life actually is. It is your job to lend an ear, to offer assistance. How can I help? How can I be there? And I read somewhere, don't just ask. Depending on your relationship with the person, just be there. Just make the meal. Somebody, just sit outside the house. Hey, I'm here. You got a minute? You want to go for a walk? Sometimes all people want is just to be seen. And sometimes people do just want to be left alone or known that they are thought of. Hey, boo, I was just thinking about you. I know this season is rough. I'm here. Hey, boo, I'm around the corner. Hey, I got some ice cream. They know what the issue is. Allow them to discuss it, but also allow people to feel their feelings. Oh, I'm listening to someone talk about an awful moment in their life. I'm just listening. And then someone else in the conversation, well-meaning, but ill-timed. And they were, well, there's no well. There is no well. Someone said, even if you know what it's like to lose your mother, you didn't lose my mother. I lost my mother. So we might have the loss in common, but we don't have the loss in common. Lesson of the day, for the sake of peace, for the sake of consideration, be the one that people can lean on. That's a beautiful space to be in. When I think about the DNA deficits, I think about characteristics, and people will say, oh, you know that Leah, she gets it honest. I'd love for people to say, that's my girl Leah. She gets that honest. That's a beautiful thing. It's not so beautiful when people are doing that. And when they're doing that, I know it's time to excavate again. I know that it's time for me to, let's get, you were getting better. You were getting good. You were doing all right, but you slacked off a little bit because it's DNA. So it is a part of whatever it is. Let's just say you have a problem interrupting. Your mother had a problem interrupting. Her father had a problem interrupting. His mother had a problem interrupting. So you got 5 generations of interrupted mother suckers. And we have to learn to break that cycle. So a friend finally says, hey, I love you, but that just sends me to the moon. That makes me feel unseen. Excavation. Okay, so I have a thought. I'm going to hold my thought. I'm going to take in what my friend is saying. I'm not going to listen to respond. I'm going to listen to hear. DNA deficits. Child, everybody in my family has diabetes. I'm just going to keep on eating this gravy and white rice. I'm going to keep on eating these hog maws. I'm going to keep on eating this Popeyes. We're just going to take some blood pressure medication. Why take blood pressure medication when we can go out? I'm about to say out in the field. When we can go out. We can go to Whole Foods. We can grow our own healing. What are we proving by continuing to do things that are detrimental to our health? I mean, I know Russian roulette is it's a dangerous game, but I'm going to just put this one bullet in this mug and just see. The way that we eat, self included, the way that we eat, just eating and not exercising, just continuing to play Russian roulette. Would be very surprised if I learned that what's going on with my leg didn't have something to do with my diet or my weight. And I've been pushing back. I haven't been going to Starbucks. I'm not a big fast food person. Sometimes when I'm really hungry, I'll stop there. But even now, I'll drive past and I'll just feel like death when I drive past a fast food restaurant because I'm learning more about what's in these foods, even the healthy stuff. By the way, buy frozen, not canned. Once we learn what our deficits are, it is our responsibility to supplement the deficiency. That's all I'm saying. Like I say, I ain't no preacher, but I am a teacher with 2 degrees to do so, even though I'm just on this little podcast throwing some thoughts your way. I hope that you come back next week. I hope that you like and share this message. I would appreciate you communicating with me and letting me know what you think. All right. Thanks so much. Take care, baby.